Good morning, all of you. We will continue with the civics chapter, the Indian Constitution, and today we'll have a look at the need for laws, page 220. Come to page 220. We already had a look at what is constitution, what is the importance of constitution, few things about the Indian Constitution, what is the preamble of a country. We have also done the important terms which are there in the preamble. So today we will see that why we need laws. Okay, so what do you think? Why do we need laws?
Ma'am, so that the government can smoothly run the nation.
Okay, so that the government can smoothly run the nation. Anyone else? Why do we need laws? Why do we need rules? Yes, Etsi, come on.
Man, the society will never be lived peacefully.
Yes, anyone else?
Ma'am, to make the country work properly.
Okay, so to make the country work properly. Alright, okay. So, we need laws for smooth functioning of the country, right? So that the country can function better, efficient running of the country, for maintaining law and order in the country, so that we can live peacefully in the society. So for all these things, we need rules and laws. Now, what is a law? So law is basically a command which is given by a superior authority and which needs to be followed, which needs to be obeyed. Now, law is equally applicable, means it applies to all citizens. So what we mean to say is that the rich and poor all are same in the eyes of law, and the same law applies to all. So whether the person might be the poorest person in India, or the most illiterate person, or even the president or the prime minister of a country, so the same law applies to all. Now, we need laws to carry on, and we have already discussed that we need laws so that there is a proper functioning. All right, so there is a smooth functioning, we talked about that day, that what if we did not have any timetable for a school. All right, so like if I don't have a timetable, you also don't have a timetable, and you don't know today which classes you have, neither the teacher knows that in which class she has to go to teach. So what will there be? What do you think the condition would be? Yes, if you don't have a timetable, you don't know which teacher will teach, and even the teacher doesn't know, then what will happen?
Ma'am, confusion.
All right, so there will be confusion, there will be utter chaos. And so to work smoothly, to work efficiently, we need laws. And what is constitution? Constitution is a, what is a constitution? Come on. Yes, class 8, what is a
A
constitution?
set of laws. A set of laws.
Okay, so it is a set of laws according to which the whole country is governed. So we need laws so that the work is smooth. All right, and the laws are generally for the welfare, for the benefit, for the good of all. And they help to develop good laws, help to develop good habits, and they try, basically they help so that we can get the best of our resources. Whatever resources we have, we can get the best out of them. Now mostly, that is why we say now mostly the laws are for the welfare of the people. But sometimes there are bad laws also, and whenever there is a bad law, so what people do? What do you think? If there are bad laws, people are supposed to follow laws. So good laws, obviously, everyone follows. But what if there is a bad law? Then what happens? Or what should happen according to you? Yes, if there is some bad law which is passed by the government, then what the people should do?
Man, protest.
Okay, all right. So the people, they oppose it. If there's a bad law, so people, they oppose bad laws. And so, you know, there is always a dissent. Dissent is disagreement, having a different view. So if there's a bad law which is passed, so obviously, you know, people will disagree with it. They will tell that no, we don't think likewise, we have a different view to that. And so, you know, there is always a disagreement in case of bad laws. But you know, whenever there is a good law, so people accept it and they obey it. Now dissent means disagreement with anything that the government has done, which people think is not for the welfare of the people. Now that is a part and parcel of democracy, means showing disagreement is a part of democracy. And all democratic countries, you know, they should give this right to the people, and they should accept that the people have the right to express their views and their opinions on every action of the government. And that is what democracy is all about. It is our rule. All right, so like if we don't like something which has been set up as a rule, so obviously, you know, we should be free to express our views and opinions on that. And but you know, whenever we show a disagreement, it should be through peaceful means non-violence. It should be through non-violence and acts of violence. So we should not use, we should not resort to, we should not use non-violent, we should not use you know, violence. We should always use non-violence. So no violence at all. It should always be peaceful and through constitutional means. Okay, so here we have an example, you know, from a history where a bad law was imposed and how people protested against that bad law. So, Law and Dissent, Salt Satyagraha of 1930. Now, Salt Satyagraha, I think most of you must have heard about it, and it was a non-violent protest against the salt law. Now, that salt law was said to be unjust, and it was put forward by the British government, who were ruling over us at that time. Now, why we say that the law was unjust? Now, according to the salt law, making and selling of salt was a British monopoly. Now what that means is that only the Britishers were allowed to make salt and sell salt. The Indians were not allowed to do so. You know, though it was their own country, and for the people who live in the coastal areas, you know, this making salt could be a very easy way of livelihood. But you know, they were stopped. They were not allowed to make salt, neither sell salt. And then, you know, the Britishers had a monopoly, and then on top of it, they even imposed taxes. And so, you know, the people, they did not like this law, and they thought that it was not for the welfare of the people, and so they should oppose it. And so Gandhiji, he started the civil disobedience movement with the breaking of the salt law. Now civil disobedience was basically the movement in which they deliberately defied the laws, means they deliberately broke the laws. But here, when we say breaking the laws, obviously we do not mean that you go on breaking any law. We mean the colonial laws which were against the welfare of the people. And so Gandhiji, he started his famous Dandi march from his ashram at Sabarmati and to the coastal town of Dandi, and there he made salt water. There he made salt by boiling the sea water and at Dandi, and thus he violated the salt law, because you know, only the Britishers could make salt, so he made salt, and thus he violated the salt law. And you know, at Gandhiji's call, the people, you know, throughout the country, they began to break the laws. But here again, remember, not all laws, and they began to defy laws, and there were hartals and strikes throughout the countries, demonstrations held throughout the country, and the people, they boycotted foreign goods. Boycotted, anyone knows the meaning of boycott? The people boycotted foreign goods. What does that mean? In simple words, what does that mean? The people boycotted foreign goods. Yes.
When banned.
Banned.
all right. So they banned, they did not use, all right. So the people, they banned, or basically they did not use, they said no to foreign goods. And also they refused to pay taxes. Because why they refused to pay taxes? We as citizens also, we pay taxes, but here, they were putting taxes on each and everything, and the taxes were also very high. And so that is why, they defied that, and they refused to pay the tax. And with this breaking up of the salt law, there was a great political unrest, because it showed, normally we would pay taxes to the government, and thus we say that, okay, you can rule over us. But here, only what they did when they said that we don't want to pay you taxes, what was they trying to say? They were trying to tell you that you have no rule, no authority to rule over us. And so, politically in the governing field, there was this confusion and chaos in the whole country. So what we can say is that dissent, means showing disagreement, is an important feature of democratic government. And now, without dissent, without this right of showing dissent, a democratic country could become a dictator. All right. Now we know about democracy, that it is the government of the people. The people have so many rights there. We have the right to equality, right to freedom, all right, and so many other rights which are given to the citizens in a democratic country. But you have also know a little bit about monarchy and dictatorship. Okay, so you tell me, in a monarchy or in a dictatorship, are people allowed to show dissent? Can they say anything against the king or the dictator?
No, ma'am.
All right. Okay.
No.
Yes. So, their dissent is not allowed, means they cannot raise their voice in disagreement to any of the rules or the regulations or the laws which are brought about by the king or by the dictator. And so that is why they are saying that without dissent, democratic country will become like a dictatorship only. And so the rulers, the government, they should have tolerance for dissent, means they should be tolerant enough. And it basically shows them maturity, that yes, they are open to disagreement also. Now, the right of each lawmaker to disagree with party bosses follows directly. So basically, what it means to say is that from where it comes, this to show dissent, basically, we all are free individuals, and we have the freedom of expression also, freedom of thought and expression. So, we as individuals, we as citizens, we have a right to think, all right, and each one of us could have a different viewpoint, and we also are free to express that in any way we want, obviously only through peaceful means. And so, that could be expressed through so many means, through words, through political meetings, demonstrations, protests, strikes, even through plays and drama, and even paintings and all. So that is all a form of our expression. And so, that is why people, they should be, the government, they should be open to the dissent or the disagreement which is put forward by the people of the country. Now, and that is why there are opposition parties in all democratic countries. And showing dissent, again, is the right of the opposition parties also. And because sometimes what happens, in order to increase the income, or sometimes the government, they may pass certain laws which are not good for the people, and which are not even correct from the moral point of view. And so even the liquor law is one of them. And the government, they try to justify their policy by saying that if they put out this liquor law, so people will not make liquor illegally, and which can cause the death of so many people. And So but so the government, they may pass certain laws, and maybe for money and all, and they may say that no, they are doing this for this and this purpose. But opposition parties, they have the work, they are given the task that they can take the government on their words, and they can ask questions if they think that the government is doing anything which is against the welfare or the wishes of the people. And so they can even oppose the government, even in the parliament or even in the state legislative assemblies, and even outside it. So even in the parliaments and in the assemblies also, they can show their disagreement, and even outside it they can show it. So they can hold meetings, and they can hold demonstrations, and they can even take to satyagraha to condemn the actions of the government. So what we want to conclude is that dissent is a very important part of a democratic setup. Alright, so that completes our chapter. Now let's mark the exercises first, and then we'll move on to the question answers. Alright, so all of you get a pencil. Hurry up. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. 1 minute.
Okay, hurry up there. Alright, first exercise, fill in the blanks. Dash was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly. Who was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly? Hurry up, look in your book. Page 218.
Dr.
Ma'am,
Rajendra.
Dr. Rajendra Prasad.
Right, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Right, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So he was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly. Dash was the first Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
Jawaharlal Nehru.
Alright, okay. So Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he was the first Prime Minister of the Republic of India. Next, third one. Dash was the chairman of the drafting committee. So Rajendra Prasad, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, he was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly, but a 8-member committee was also made. That was the drafting committee.
Ma'am, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar.
Yes, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Next, a nation is dash when it is free into its internal and external matters. When it is free in its internal and external matters. What do we call that? When a nation is free to rule themselves as they want.
Ma'am, Republic.
Republic.
No, republic is something else. When the head of the country is an elected person.
Then sovereign.
Sovereign. Right. Sovereign. A nation is sovereign. S-O-V-E-R-E-I-G-N. S-O-V-E-R-E-I-G-N. Sovereign. And the last, fill in the blank. Dissent is an important feature of dash.
Democratic.
Democracy. Yes, right, democracy. Dissent is an important feature of democracy. We move on to the next exercise. Write true or false against each statement. Constitution is the set of rules which helps the government of a country to run. True or false?
True.
Ma'am, true.
True.
Ma'am, true.
Okay.
Ma'am, true.
Yes, true. January 26th is celebrated as the Independence Day.
Ma'am,
False.
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 So
False.
26th January is celebrated as the
Ma'am, Constitution
Republic Day.
Republic Day. And when do we have our Independence Day?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
15th of
15th
August.
August.
Okay. Alright. Laws are not necessary for the smooth running of the society.
Ma'am, false.
False.
Ma'am,
Laws are
false.
necessary. Right. False. Salt Satyagraha was started by Gandhi ji.
Ma'am, true.
True. Home to roof.
Okay. Liberty means freedom of everything. That is good or bad?
False.
Alright. Next exercise. Choose the correct answer. A state where all religions receive due respect is called
Ma'am, secular.
Secular.
Okay, secular. So India is a secular
Ma'am,
country.
secular.
We don't have a state religion. All religions are treated equally. A nation which has an elected person as its head is called a
Ma'am, Republic.
republic. Correct. Fraternity means
Brotherhood.
brotherhood. Indian constitution came into force on
26 January 1950.
January 1950.
okay 26 January 1950. Alright, we move on to the short questions. What is a constitution? What is a constitution?
Ma'am, set of rules according to which the government of a country runs.
Alright, so this answer you will get on page 217, first paragraph, first line. First paragraph, first line. This is your answer 1. Constitution is a set of rules according to which the government of a country runs. Second, what is contained in the constitution of a country? This you will get on page 222. We will take this from points to remember. Page 221, sorry, page 221. Points to remember, the first one. The rules and principles which determine how a country is governed and which give its citizens certain rights form the constitution of the country. This is answer number 2. Marked?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Beta, second answer you will get on page 221 under the heading points to remember. Point number 1. Point number 1 is answer number 2. Next, why do we need laws? Yes, why do we need laws?
We need laws to carry on our work smoothly
Works
for the
for the
benefit of
welfare of all, for developing good habits and to get maximum out of resources.
Alright. So, page number 220 under the heading need for laws, first paragraph, third last line. We need laws to carry on our work smoothly for the welfare of all, for developing good habits and to get the maximum out of our resources. Answer number 3. Page number 220 under the heading need for laws, first paragraph, third last line till the end of the paragraph. Next, who was the chairperson of the drafting committee?
Dr. B.R. Ambedkar.
Okay, so you will answer in full. The chairperson of the drafting committee was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Next, what is socialism? Yes, socialism. Okay, yes, from you can mark this from page 219. 219 under the heading socialist. And you can mark from the last word of the first line. It is written lay. Alright, before it you add socialism. So We will start from the last word. Before that last word, you add socialism. So it will be socialism lays stress on the resolve of the nation to strive for economic justice. Cut socialism and alright. So socialism lays stress on the resolve of the nation to strive for economic justice that envisages equitable distribution of national wealth to all sections of the people. To all sections of the people. And then come to the next paragraph. The second sentence here. It aims at providing measures through which economic disparity may be reduced. Mark till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright. Then, even the first answer in the next particular section, what do you mean by terms, articles and schedules? This also we will do as a short answer. So this also you will write under short answers. What do you mean by the terms, articles and schedules? So this is also a short answer. And for this you come to page 218. Under the heading working of the Constitution, the second paragraph. From the first line, various items concerning how we shall be governed are set in the form of articles. The schedules are the list of statements included in the Constitution to give a clear and elaborate meaning to the articles. Got it, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, and from here one more we will do as a short answer, the fourth one, and we will do the first part of it only. What was the salt law? Just this part, what was the salt law? This also you will do as a short answer type question, What was the salt law? So for this, come to page 221, the first paragraph, second line. The salt law stated making salt was the monopoly of the British government and no Indian was allowed to make salt. Alright, have you all marked till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
for today,
Ma'am, please
we
repeat.
will stop here, and tomorrow we will do the long answer type questions.